Hi, welcome to Prince Asbel. I'm Prince Asbel, and this is my brother Sarsis. And for those of you who haven't already seen it, The Legend of Korra, the anime series, the American anime series, just ended, and in its finale was a very controversial scene. There's a scene at the end where Korra and her friend, what's her name? I don't even know her name. Asami. They go into the spirit portal, and they go into the spirit portal, and they end, we'll show the image in the video, with holding each other's hands and glancing and looking into each other's eyes with this romantic stare. I mean, when we watched that, I was the first one who was like, gay! That's so gay.
Matt, you gotta deal with the correct after that. It's like,
gay! And so, but like, people like my brother here, they were like, no, it's not necessarily gay, okay? It's...
No. I wasn't like that. I knew because when I went to go watch the episode when I went to go watch the episode, I saw the first Google result was them talking about, how progressive it was showing that image, and I was like, yep, they did it, which is crazy, because I thought I was nuts, because during the third season, I thought, you know what? They're probably just gonna, shove a lesbian subplot into this series just to, as a pathetic olive branch to the LGBT community. Yeah. And I thought, it's just crazy. She's had two boyfriends.
Just paranoia.
I'm just conservative paranoia. And then the end of the series with, Asami is, comforting Korra after her horrible illness due to her, metal poisoning. And I'm like, and my suspicions were a little bit aroused. And as the series went on in the fourth season, I noticed no romantic plot lines were rebuilding between her and Mako or anything like that. I became a little bit more suspicious, but there was nothing concrete. Like Korra, one day was they had some sort of episode where, you see some sort of, lesbian relationship, and, the plot of the episode is screaming at you, being gay is okay, and if you think otherwise, shame on you, go back to your cave, Neanderthal.
Right. So what I did is that, I was going to ignore this, but then I signed out of my Yahoo Mail account, and on the front page for 2 days, there was an article that said, Legend of Korra is, The Legend of Korra ends as the most progressive mainstream cartoon ever. We've got an article written by a Nick Kanata Bowman, and in it starts off praising it for having a female lead, a strong, independent-minded woman. All too often, the iconic heroes of TV and film don't feature strong... Hold it. Don't feature strong, independent-minded women. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that they could have only gone further if they'd been a strong, independent black woman who don't need no man.
Hey, there you go. And hey, Korra is kind of dark-skinned, so...
Well, I guess they sort of went that way. A strong, independent woman who don't need... biracial woman who don't need no man.
Okay. But the funny thing is, it really isn't that way, is it? Because it's just like the original Avatar in that she relies on her friends constantly. She's not independent. She fails plenty of times in the show. And even in, the season 4 finale?
Well, it really begs the question, what is your definition of an independent woman?
I don't know.
No one would ever suggest that Aang he
was a strong, independent boy.
Strong, independent young man, or 12-year-old.
He didn't need Katara. He didn't need Toph.
As if implying that if he needed them, that he would be, weak or, sub-sufficient or something like that. And
exactly.
That's not a word, is it? Deficient.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Insufficient is the word I was looking for.
Yeah, but even in, how many seasons did Korra have?
Legend of Korra had 4 seasons.
4 seasons. In the 3rd season finale, when they're all fighting whatever that big, tough guy is.
Shoot. Dang.
Darn, what's his name?
Azir?
I think it's Azir. Let me see.
We better look up the proper pronunciation. We're gonna look like idiots on this thing.
Zahir. Zahir. Here we go. Zahir. Okay. Zahir, one of the cooler bad guys, he gets in a fight with Korra. He captures her. Mm-hmm. He starts poisoning her with metal.
Chains her up.
Poisons her with metal.
Violent sexual imagery there.
Yeah, there you go.
Enforcing the patriarchy.
Yeah. And while this happens, while people are trying to save Korra from this, they're trying to get to Korra and get this lead out of her body, Tenzin, the son of Aang, he is fighting bad guys left and right. He's holding off Zahir, he's holding off a couple of the other bad guys, and he's winning. This is all while Korra is captured and chained and getting poisoned by metal. She's not able to escape. And he's holding off the biggest bad guy, plus a couple of his friends. And it finally took a freaking airship to arrive.
And with this firebender exploded.
Yeah.
Combustion lady.
Yeah, she had to shoot lasers at him from an airship way far away to finally take him down. But
Well, it took all 4 of these master benders together to
All
take
together.
him down eventually.
Yeah.
Because he was fighting so fiercely, which is pretty unusual because Tenzin, he's always been portrayed as a good bender, but he's not Aang. Like, we're so
yeah,
used
he's
to
not
seeing... if
Aang, but
somebody's
he's not Aang, but he's definitely stronger than Korra was at that time. I mean, Korra.
Well, they keep on... Okay, like in the original series, Aang was a little kid who needed to learn bending and stuff like that. So the fact that he couldn't take everyone on perfectly,
Right.
100% of the time, was excused by the fact that they hadn't mastered all forms of bending, and he didn't know how to use the Avatar State because there was no one there to teach him. They had to keep on coming up with these stupid plot devices for Korra for not being able to bear bend, not being able to use the Avatar
not being
State,
able to
not
bear
being
bend
able to
so she
use
couldn't control bears.
not being able to use the Avatar State, not being able to use the Avatar State, and not being able to use the Avatar State. Which happened like what, 3 times in the last season?
Yeah, multiple times.
I think
And when she was being poisoned by metal, she had to voluntarily keep from using the Avatar State.
Okay, let's get back to this article here. It
No,
says,
hang on. So this article says this features a strong, independent woman in Korra. No, she's not. She not only wasn't the strongest bender in the show for the most of its run, but she wasn't independent any more than Aang was independent. She needed her friends, she needed her helpers, and she sometimes got caught, and she needed their help to get out.
Now, so what are they saying by when they say she's a strong, independent woman? Is it the fact that she dumped... no, not dumped, but broke up with Mako? Is that what makes her independent?
I don't know, but...
I suppose her definition of independent is any girl in a series who isn't like, my goal in life is to, find a nice husband, settle down, have kids.
Oh, you know what? You're right. You're right.
That's their definition of a dependent woman.
I think you're right, because in the article it says, the result is a story, while watched primarily by males, made as a one-of-a-kind allegory for girls maturing into womanhood. This isn't written very well. While not depending on its lead finding a husband or boyfriend. Oh, because... So that's
what...
good.
Because you know what? Avatar, The Last Airbender, that was all about that. See, it wasn't about Aang achieving anything or becoming anything. It was just about him ending up with
That's all it was about.
That's all we cared
and
about.
that just dragged the story down. And
that made him dependent. Because if Korra had ended up with Mako, or God forbid, Bolin... or anyone else, that would have made her dependent and not strong and independent because, God forbid she should want a man. What is with this, implication that if you...
She's a strong, independent, biracial woman who don't need no man. That's basically what the article said. She didn't need to find a boyfriend.
So they're saying if the main focus of this is that she finds a man, that would make her... That would be basically degrading her as a female role.
Basically. Because it's cool. Apparently, according to them, it's cooler to not need to find a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So in other words...
it's definitely cool that she ended up with a woman.
Yeah, somehow.
That doesn't make her dependent or anything like that. I mean, let's pretend for a fact that nobody in the world thinks that there's any kind of difference between a relationship between a man and woman, a romantic relationship, or between a man and a man or a woman and a woman.
Okay.
Then why is it wrong? Why would it make her weak or, not independent, dependent, if she ended up with a man, or if the plot of the climax of it was like she ends up with Mako and they resolve the relationship? Why does that degrade her? But if she ends up with Asami, that's really uplifting and encouraging.
I thought
the 2% lesbian population in the entire world?
I thought this was such a progressive cartoon. Why is this writer holding up her relationship with another woman as better?
Do all these writers have terrible relationships? Why is it
I don't know.
They're always strong, normal, healthy relationships bad.
Okay.
Divergent and deviant relationships perfectly okay.
Here we go.
Korra with an animal? Oh yeah, how progressive.
How progressive.
Well, that'll be the next series, probably.
We'll see. And perhaps the most controversial, going back to the article, and perhaps the most controversial and talked about moment of the entire series, Legend of Korra concludes with our lead and her friend, in quotes, Asami, interlocking hands, looking deeply into each other's eyes as we faded out and credits rolled.
Now, there was, in defense, I've seen a lot of straight chicks do that because they're just, chicks are really weird and lovey-dovey unlike guys. I've seen a lot of chicks do that who are definitely not lesbians. I mean, I've met lesbians.
I might see an older sister and a little baby sister do that, but I mean, regular adult women.
I mean, it's just be hilarious to act out, but it's hey, how you doing? This arm in a lock hug
hug each other with their cheeks and stuff.
It would be it would be make a hilarious Vine where it's if guys acted like girls and they did that, film people's reactions what the. Back in my day, we didn't do that sort of thing.
Yeah, but here we go.
didn't do that sort of thing with women in public.
There was, of course, room to debate that they were simply acting as close friends would. That is, until one of the show's creators, Mike DiMartino, made it abundantly clear what that final scene meant, and I quote him, "Our intention with the last scene was to make it as clear as possible that yes, Korra and Asami have romantic feelings for each other. The moment where they enter the spirit portal symbolizes their evolution from being friends to being a couple." Yeah, keeping in mind that the target demographic for this show is the 14 to 21 age range, such an ending is virtually unheard of in this arena. We see two strong women bonding in a way that no other kids' cartoon has been bold enough to even attempt in television history.
Now, to give Asami some props, Asami is kind of a likable character, and she is pretty strong. Like, she's kicked some butt. She was always wearing that, like, electrified gauntlet thing, is like, always constantly tasering people. The very fact that the writer of the show had to come out and say, yes, in fact, they are in a relationship. Yes, in fact, Korra, I guess, Korra and Asami are at least bisexual.
Yeah.
If not, now turned full-on lesbians. They had to specifically state it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't crystal clear.
It was clear to me.
To anyone with a brain, you're like, yeah, they're definitely in a
It was
blind.
clear to me.
Yeah,
I knew it from the very second I saw it.
It was plainly obvious, but you couldn't say to somebody else, yes, for 100% certain that's what happened. They had to come out and confirm it. Because for the whole rest of the series, Korra, for all intents and purposes, is straight.
Yeah.
She's not bi, she's not lesbian, she's straight. She's a normal, straight girl. And I know someone out there is like, but isn't being a lesbian normal? No. Just like if you were a member of the male sex and you were into guys, that wouldn't be normal either, because most men don't. Now, whether something is normal or abnormal, that doesn't say whether it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is, Korra comes across as a completely straight girl in terms of her normal sexuality.
Yep.
She has a crush on Mako and stuff like that. But the only clues, the only hints that she might possibly be interested in women is that there's a few moments with Asami, like one time I think Asami compliments her hair and she blushes, or the fact that when she was in her convalescence after being poisoned by Zahir, she only wrote to Asami, which of course could be taken as a perfectly platonic straight thing to do, as girls tend to confide in each other, because in their world they don't have Facebook for them to attention whore all the time.
But even the whole thing
I'm feeling so bad today.
No. But here's the thing. Like, even the part where you said Asami compliments Korra on her hair. I've heard at least one girl who was saying she had a girl crush on the red-haired elven chick in the Hobbit trilogy, and I wasn't taking that to mean, well, maybe I've got a lesbian friend here or something like that.
Pretty sure girl crush is kind of like
a girl crush.
The writers portrayed the characters as completely straight for the entire series. Every moment they could be perceived as lesbian could totally be perceived as something in between two straight friends. They simply, in the very last episode, in the very last scene, gave you something that would be almost impossible to misconstrue anything else other than, a possible relationship between the two women, romantic relationship. But everything else was not. So they got to have their cake and eat it too. They got to not offend anyone for their entire series, and then at the very last moment, they're like, we'll throw a bone to the LGBT community. They'll eat it up. They'll love us for it. Mm-hmm. So you got screwed, basically.
Yeah, well, and they also at the same time went and slapped all of their other audience in the face. It says, hey, this of course comes on the heels, this is the article, of 2 seasons where the relationships among all the female characters became the focal point, driving the story forward to its satisfying conclusion. That wasn't a satisfying conclusion.
Wait, whoa. Okay, where the relationships among all the female characters came to a focal point.
Became the focal point.
I'm not certain about that.
Look, that's not the point. It says driving it to its satisfying. It says driving this story forward to its satisfying conclusion. None of my siblings were satisfied by the ending of Korra. Yes, it's the ending of the series. I get it. You're usually not satisfied, but it was basically at the end they were like, what? What the heck? You just turned Korra, the heroine of the show, into at least bisexual or just lesbian girl?
It was like
how is that a satisfying conclusion?
Like they took a gigantic syringe of politics and just stabbed it into the neck of Legend of Korra, and they're like, you're gonna take this and you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
And apparently people do.
Yeah.
Even though it was entirely just so incredibly fabricated.
Yeah. Here we go. This is the way the article ends. Given the lack of strong female leads we have now, Legend of Korra is a breath of fresh air that in its run set the gold standard for how women should be portrayed when it comes to modern storytelling.
What?
What? While the series has officially come to an end, it forever will be the show that fearlessly moved gender and orientation equality forward in a medium where such ambition had never been imagined.
The way these people write...
What a grandstand.
The way these people write, you think that they were, like, radical leftists living in the 1950s who could somehow, like, send articles into the future. Because they're acting like not every single show on television today has homosexual characters, gays, lesbians, bisexuals, transgender, transsexuals, whatever you want, and that as main characters or frequent reoccurring characters or guest characters all the time that are almost always portrayed in a positive light.
Right.
They're acting like this is some big historic moment. It's like when Ellen Page came out, you know, I'm gay. It's like, no one cares. Like 1,000 other people came out as gay before you. It's not, to our culture, it's not a big deal anymore. It's not like, lesbian? I don't understand that word. What's a lesbian? Everyone knows what lesbian is. Everyone knows what gay is.
Yeah.
And I mean, if anything, if there's any kind of, like, unpopular opinion in America now, it's to stand up and say, you know what, I don't think homosexuality is okay. I don't think it's right. Or I believe that gay marriage is wrong or something like that. I mean, there's this couple, what was it, in Oregon, who ran a cake shop who got shut down.
I don't know if it was Oregon, but that's not really important. But yeah, they ran a cake shop. There's photographers that have also been asked to come and participate in gay weddings, bisexual weddings, homosexual weddings. They've been asked to make cakes or take pictures.
What would a bisexual wedding be?
I don't know. I don't know. 3 people, 2 guys, 1 woman. I don't know.
I mean, like a man and a woman getting married. We're getting married to each other, but you know, we both like we both like the same gender.
Yeah,
so who knows? Who knows? Might happen.
That wouldn't work. But see, they get sued. They get taken to court not because there aren't a million cake makers and photographers in the world that wouldn't do the job for them.
Yeah.
They find these people who have convictions against celebrating homosexual marriage, and then they complain. They sue them because they got their feelings hurt because there's somebody who didn't want to celebrate their homosexuality. And so, yeah, that's what's abnormal. Because you can take someone to law over this. Somebody could try to take us to law over this video for all we know.
Yeah, and nobody's going to take anyone to court over this, but they will making a positive
I'm going to wait for the
issue.
Yeah, can anyone think of a single Christian organization that's going to take The Legend of Korra, the creators, and they're going to take Mr. freaking, what's his name, Mike DiMartino, and they're going to take him to court because he hurt our feelings by ending the series with a lesbian relationship? I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Legend of Korra, but I was hoping for a good ending, and then it's like, oh, what? He basically just, after you got that that political slap in the face towards the very end, for all your worth, for all your fanship, for all your dedication, you got slapped in the face with politics. Do you want to take him to court? Does he owe you tens of thousands of dollars?
No, because I believe in the fun of,
What about your horrible, hurt feelings? I mean, who's going to pay for that?
Well, first off, there is you have no constitutional or human right against not having your feelings hurt. So that's not something I have any moral or legal or personal need or want or right to do.
But I mean, gay men and gay women want to get married, and they can take a photographer to court or a cake maker to court. But you can't take Mike DiMartino to court?
Well, I can't do that because, number one, it's ridiculous, and number two, everyone recognizes it ridiculous. But everyone doesn't recognize it as ridiculous to go to a Christian-run bakery and ask them to give you a gay wedding cake. I mean, what's next? What's next? Are you gonna have like sex clubs or something like that? Come to to a Christian shop, be like, hey, I want you to like decorate this cake with like graphic sexual imagery. No, I don't want to do that.
Can't do that.
Are you insulting my sexuality? I'm going to take you to court. And then you have some... I mean, judges just blow my mind. I don't know, like, anyone in America beyond, like, rich heiresses that are, like, more removed from, like, the American conscious, like, American thoughts. Like, this judge's like, well, let's see here. These Christians, they stake their faith very strongly.
Yep.
They didn't mean to insult anyone by this or anything like that. And even if they did, that's a freedom of speech. They can do what they want. They decide not to make a gaily themed wedding cake for a gay couple. So, shut down their business.
Yeah, shut down
this
your
is
livelihood,
what we as a society want.
Yeah, take away your rights, take away your ability to make money, take away your livelihood, because you hurt somebody's feelings.
You see, in the past, homosexuals were legally persecuted. And I know some are saying, well, we don't have gay marriage everywhere, so we're still legally persecuted.
No.
You are. It's not like if you have a gay wedding, somebody's gonna come along and arrest you. Shut down this gay wedding.
Yeah.
You know, throw these homosexuals in the jail cell.
Yeah.
But if you refuse to make a wedding cake for a gay couple, you get your business shut down. Now, what does that mean if you get your business shut down? It means you are no longer allowed to operate. And if you continue to operate, men with guns are going to come and stop you.
Yeah.
And if you're like, hey, you can't come into my
And if
business,
you resist,
they're going to force their way into your business. And if you try and force them out of your business,
they're gonna kill you.
No,
they're gonna take out their tasers, they're gonna take out their batons, and if it comes to it, they are eventually gonna take out weapons and guns, because that's what they're trained to do. If they resist too much, eventually, they're gonna shoot, and you could end up dead.
Yeah, depending on how much
Because you hurt somebody's feelings. What if you were to have, for example, a Christian, let's say somebody from the Westboro Baptist Church. They found a gay photographer, or a guy who runs a wedding cake shop, and he's gay, and they're like, I want you to make a wedding cake for our church. And they're like, I'm not gonna do that. I hate your organization.
Man, that's all wrong. It's gonna be like, I'm not gonna do that.
I'm not gonna do that
No
because,
way.
I don't have to do business with you. Now, could the Westboro Baptist Church take this poor photographer, this poor cake maker, and take him to court and sue him and shut down his livelihood?
They discriminated against us because of our religion,
Oh
and because
my
we're total jerks.
Never mind that they're total jerks.
What kind of total jerk goes?
That would be so stupid. Nobody would stand for it. But you know what? Since people put up with that kind of attitude towards Christians, I'm not going to put up with this one little bit. I'm not going to recommend the show. I'm not going to pay money to see it. And if they make a movie out of it, if they include this kind of plot, I'm not going to pay to watch it. This is the only way these things are going to stop being done, is if people stop giving money to people who do this kind of thing.
These people act like they're living in the middle of Iran, where like homosexuals are stoned to death, and we like keep on making that it's so progressive that the 915th show to endorse LGBT rights or something like that. What a historic moment! That's like somebody coming out. It's like a Burger King franchisor saying blacks will now be allowed to eat at Burger King, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this is so progressive!"
It was just all it was just a bunch of grandstanding. But you know what? I have a feeling they're going to make another Avatar show. They're going to have another sequel, whether it's before or after.
They're probably going to sell the franchise to somebody else. And
I don't know.
Make shows out
I don't know. But
sell it to Disney.
But here's the thing: if it becomes apparent that they're going to have more of this, I'm not going to watch that show either. I mean, look, there's only one way you can do this. People do this. If they try and do that again, they're going to do it because they think they're going to get paid to do it. They think there's going to be such a good reception to the ending of Legend of Korra that they should make it a staple of their show. And of course, then you can't have little kids watching it anymore. So basically, the only thing you can do is just not to give them their money. That's all I can do. Unlike those retards who take a cake maker or photographer to court, I'm not going to sue Mike DiMartino. I'm not going to sue any of these guys. I mean, I can't financially. But I'm not going to try and rally the Christian community. I can't rally the Christian community together with me to take a stand against the lesbian relationships present in The Legend of Korra. I'm not going to take you to court, but I'm not going to buy your product. You leave this crap, you leave this homosexual lesbian crap out of the cartoons, or you don't get my money. It's as simple as that. Thanks for watching.